Hello and welcome to the RN show. I'm your host Ricky here, and today just me and Josh. How are you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. How about yourself?
Can't complain, mate. A few crazy weeks, but glad to be back talking on the show now. Yeah, crazy weeks in wrestling, mate. We haven't spoken since we did our Raw Rumble preview show with Jacob. Sadly, he can't be with us today, but what did you think of the Rumble going back to it, mate? Obviously, it's been a few weeks now since the dust has settled. What did you think of it as a whole?
I don't want to say I was slightly disappointed, but I was slightly. The Rumble's always my favourite pay-per-view of the year. It's always, the go-to, starts the road to WrestleMania. But yeah, it was just a bit of nothing, wasn't it, really? Like the men's Rumble wasn't great. Both the title matches were quite good. Obviously, Bobby Lashley beating Lesnar with all the interference from Reigns. And, Reigns retaining as everyone, well, maybe not everyone expected. It was Seth Rollins. So I think if anyone was going to beat him, it was going to be him. And obviously Rollins going back now to his heel character after he had a brief little babyface or, slight half and half babyface run. But yeah, I wasn't that impressed with the Rumble. I think the women's was better than the men's. Yeah. But yeah, it was fine, but it didn't live up to my hype of, my favorite pay-per-view of the year. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty much the same, I think, mate. Like I said to you at the time, I was kind of watching it on a bit of a lower volume than I usually would. But yeah, like the Women's Rumble. As you said, I thought it was nice seeing a few names we hadn't seen for a while. Some were pointless, but some were better. Obviously, Ronda Rousey coming back was the still the headlines for that one. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Again, as you said, really enjoyed the two title matches. Thought they were good. We spoke briefly off here about the Miz and Edge and the mixed tag. I wasn't a big fan of it. I know you didn't mind it. I suppose they did everything that they could with it. But yeah, the men's Rumble, no, I wasn't impressed at all. To bring Bad Bunny back and Shane McMahon and people like that as the people coming back, it just didn't make any sense to me. Obviously, you had the big pop at 30 with Lesnar, but I think we both agreed that whoever was losing the title matches was probably going to be showing up as number 30. Obviously Rollins got a pasting, so he couldn't do it. But yeah, whether Lashley or Lesnar, I would have thought either one of them was going to be coming back at number 30. But yeah, wasn't as good. I enjoyed it, but yeah, as you said, the Rumble is usually the one that everyone looks forward to each year because obviously it's completely different to everything else that you see. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens going forward. Was there anyone who didn't come back, Josh, that you were hoping may show up?
Well, just one thing where you just mentioned Shane McMahon. Obviously, he's had the big falling out with Vince now, by all accounts. And everyone was annoyed that Randy only got like 2 minutes in the Rumble in his hometown. Apparently, someone in the truck played Shane O'Mac's music when they were meant to play Randy's, so their positions got swapped.
Oh, okay.
So some of the spots that were meant for Randy, a couple of bigger pops and things like that, apparently didn't really happen because he got a lot less time in the Rumble. Yeah, obviously we saw Bad Bunny do his Canadian Destroyer again, which is actually a very good Canadian Destroyer, to be fair to him. Obviously we had all the rumours with the Forbidden Door. People were saying it was going to be Moose, it was going to be, Moxley, it was going to be Cody, Jericho, and just none of them happened. There weren't really any. People came back and you thought, oh, okay, they're not going to win. They're just sort of there. But yeah, I didn't get that, that little, the feeling you normally get with a Rumble, like excitement with the 10 count, things like that. Just none of it was really there because I didn't really see, anyone huge coming back. And I think if we'd got, like an AJ Styles in 2016 with, Jay White or one of the AEW guys or even one of the Impact guys, I think it would have given that little bit more. But like you say, the second Lesnar came in, we all knew it was a foregone conclusion. We all knew who was winning. Similar with Rousey. But yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed with Ronda. I think she obviously she hasn't been in a ring in nearly 3 years, but she looked like she had quite a bit of ring rust on her, which don't get me wrong, she'd absolutely batter me and batter everyone else in real life. But yeah, I think in comparison to some of the women around her, she wasn't looking her best when it came to in-ring skill.
No, it's fair, mate. Like you say, yeah, shame that people didn't turn up. There were a lot of talk. We talked a bit about Bailey or Oscar coming back, and obviously that didn't happen. People like Ciampa, who's been obviously on main event, not maybe coming through at the Rumble. Just a bit strange the way they did it, but who knows why they did it. But yeah, it seemed like there was some superstars currently in WWE who maybe would have been better suited being there without the surprises than a Shane McMahon or a Bad Bunny. But we'll have to see. Johnny Knoxville as well. They weren't the people we want to go, even though they're obviously continuing with the Knoxville thing.
Well, I was going to say, I think Knoxville might have a match at Mania against Mr. Zayn. And have you seen that they filmed this week's SmackDown last week? Because obviously they're going out to Rhode. And there were some spoilers. So I think Mr. Knoxville may be having a slightly bigger WrestleMania moment, and may potentially, not to spoil it for anyone, but maybe leaving WrestleMania with some gold around his waist, I think.
That would be terrible, wouldn't it? Let's hope not. I hate it when fair enough, have these people turn up. I know you weren't a fan at the time, and neither was I really last WrestleMania, but can't argue that Priest and Bad Bunny were quite good together. But again, it wasn't really for anything, just for a spotlight and obviously to promote himself. So yeah, let's hope not. You never know with WWE; they do like to do these things, but hopefully it's just some rubbish they put on the internet to try and annoy people. But yeah, we're gonna have to see. We'll have to talk then about the big story that's come out today. I've seen just before we came on about Cody Rhodes. Obviously, talk on the internet, and then obviously he's put it up, and also AEW have put it up, thanking him and Brandy for all the work and that they were leaving. Big rumors that he's coming back to WWE, Josh. Is this a good move? We know how he left WWE, and we know how much, how much rope he's allowed in AEW to say what he wants, does what he wants, which he's not going to get in WWE. What do you think if this move does go through?
I'd say the Cody that's coming back is definitely a main event star. He's got better in the ring, he's got better on the mic, he's got a better character in the way he just presents himself. I honestly don't know. I'm inclined to think it might be a ruse to get him heat when he turns heel, and he'll sort of come back and he'll say, I left and none of you cared, and this is why I'm now being an absolute horrible bad guy. So I'm hoping it's that, because I don't really see where he fits in WWE. I think unless you give him a world title as soon as he gets there, he's just going to end up as one of the other guys sort of lost in the shuffle again. So I don't know. Obviously, it looked very official, but AEW do enjoy the swerve and things like that. Not that they always do it particularly well sometimes, but they do enjoy it. So I don't know. I'm holding back on giving a firm opinion until he's actually in a WWE ring, because I personally think it's going to be a swerve, a way of him turning heel. He'll probably play it that, people are tweeting saying, we didn't want you there anyway. You were the Triple H that, of AEW. So personally, that's the way I see it going. But, we have been sort of removed from the elite and things like that the last year or so. But yeah, I don't know whether it's just a massive ruse or whether or not he means it. But, it's just one of those things. I guess we'll find out on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, just seems. I know, there was talk, and we've said about him and Omega's contracts coming to an end and stuff like that. But you kind of just said, well, they're EVPs, they're just going to resign, and it's all going to be said and done. But yeah, strange. It would just be strange. One of my mates who likes AEW, he said to me on WhatsApp, like, where he can go there if he wants, but what's he going to? He's just going to get jobbed by the likes of Reigns and Lesnar and Rollins, the top guys. Because yeah, as good as I like Cody, I think he's great in the ring, and I think he was definitely undervalued by WWE when he was there the first time. Or is he a name like Reigns? Is he a name like Rollins? Can he do in the ring what they can do? Probably not. So it'd be a strange one for him to go there. Like I said to my mate, maybe he thinks he's got unfinished business. Obviously, Dusty Rhodes still has a big link with NXT, and everything Goldust and everything Stardust, everything like that. But be a strange one for me, especially with all of the clout he has in AEW and how his promos undoubtedly you say about MJF maybe, but apart from that, his promos have been the big promos in AEW. They've been the ones that have hit home when I've listened to them. So yes, a strange one. Like I say, could easily be the start of his heel character in AEW, and I think what's the point? Why not just turn heel? I don't think the fans are gonna care about it if he comes back as a heel. Seeing he's been booed already, but yeah, strange that AEW would make the statement. I can understand if he did it on his Twitter, but strange that AEW and Tony Khan have come out and kind of ratified it on Twitter. But we'll have to see. He's always said as well, Josh, that he only wanted to wrestle till he was 40, didn't he? So he hasn't got that many years left.
But then at the same time, you say it's strange them coming out and saying it. If it happened in WWE and Seth Rollins posted something like that and WWE ratified it, you think, oh, okay, fair enough. But with AEW, like with him being an EVP, like Cody is essentially a massive part of AEW. Tony's the owner, but Cody has got a lot of clout backstage. He's a producer, he, writes the shows, things like that. And I think it wouldn't be hard. I wouldn't be surprised if he just sort of, turned over on his phone, went from one Twitter account to the other, and then posted his own thing. But in WWE, because it's such a much bigger, business conglomerate, no one superstar's sort of got that power to do that. Whereas in AEW, because it's a bit smaller with regards to who's running it, and the talent have got a lot more power with regards to being EVPs, you could potentially do it himself. So with AEW tweeting that out, I'm not massively surprised. If it was WWE tweeting it, I'd maybe take it a little bit more seriously with regards to letting go one of their talents, or a thank you sort of farewell Twitter speech, I suppose.
No, we'll have to see, mate. Like I said, you would think if he was coming, it would be for a WrestleMania match, but we're just gonna have to see now what happens, and or even the coming weeks if he turns back up. We talked about Revolution, turns back up as a heel there, or whether he goes elsewhere. But be interested anyway. It's got Twitter talking, and that's what they like to do. So be interested in that. Speaking of forbidden doors, then, mate. Obviously, we mentioned it in the chat as well. Keith Lee, Jay White, now both All Elite as well. What do you think about the moves? Keith Lee's going to be in the ladder match coming up with Revolution. I think he's a blue chipper. Is that a good signing for AEW?
Yeah, I think Keith Lee's a brilliant signing for wherever he goes, and obviously he was wasted on the main roster with WWE, whether that was down to his own sort of backstage attitude, because obviously that was rumored at the time, or whether it was just Vince McMahon not liking people who don't have chiseled six-pack abs. But yeah, I think he's brilliant talent. I think he's very entertaining. He's something that little bit different as well. Obviously they've got athletic big men in AEW, but he's they're more men who are like 6'7", 6'8", like your Lance Archers, things like that, who've got the athletic ability, whereas Keith Lee's something that little bit different. So I think he'll always be a draw wherever he goes. Be good seeing him against Sammy Guevara, doing a joint Spanish fly together. But yeah, I think Keith Lee's a good signing. Let's just hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because obviously a few of the ex-WWE guys have. Like, obviously everyone was buzzing when Andrade went over, and he's not really done anything since. But I'd say Keith Lee's a different kettle of fish with regards to what he can offer the promotion. Jay White, I think, again, great signing, not much fanfare to it. You could argue. But I think what we were saying sort of privately, it's going to be Adam Cole, Jay White, and Red Dragon versus Young Bucks, Kenny, and then another, whether that be Adam Page, whether it be Cody Rhodes, whether it be someone else from the AEW roster sort of jumping in there, whether it be someone else coming over from Japan, from the Bullet Club. But I think that's where it's going to end up going. It's going to end up being sort of a 4-on-4 for control of the Elite, the Bullet Club, whatever it is. But I have no issue with that. I think, Jay White's a brilliant talent. Really, really good talent. His finisher, though, is a Sister Abigail. Obviously, it's got a different name. I can't remember what it's called, but it is a Sister Abigail, which doesn't look which one is quite similar to Cody Rhodes' Crossroads. And two, obviously, I doubt we'll be seeing Bray Wyatt over there if they've already got someone who uses that move. But yeah, I think great move, great signing. He's brilliant in the ring. Looks very much like Seth Rollins. Acts like Seth Rollins with his leather jackets and everything. But yeah, I think good move. And strange one with Cole, though. Cole going after the title or going up to Hangman and giving him the title, because obviously he's been booked, not into oblivion, but his booking hasn't been popular, let's put it that way, with it on AEW. He's winning, but he's winning against people that no one cares about. So for him to go from there to world title matches with a strange one. But yeah, Keith Lee, great signing. Jay White fits into the whole Elite Bullet Club bubble. So yeah, it'd be good.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, like I said, it was good when Keith Lee turned up, and yeah, like I said, I've seen a lot of Jay White. I've seen a little bit of what he did in Impact, and I've not seen a lot of New Japan. So I just remember last year's Rumble when you were talking about him possibly being a surprise entrant in WWE because his contract was up. But yeah, I can't wait. I think it'll be good. They have got good signs. Like you say, it's a lot of people who've gone there and it hasn't worked out. You think of Miro now; he's just disappeared again. And I know you're a big fan of his, but it's strange. I hope they don't all end up there, because then these young stars aren't going to get much chances either. But good signings for AEW. Revolution. Do you see Mox versus Danielson happening then as well?
No, I hadn't seen that actually. I thought they were going to be teaming up, but
surely it's not going to be that simple.
No, obviously, I tell you what was a nice little throwback was Punk wearing the same trunks when him and Mox teamed up that he wore, I think, when Punk and two others faced the Shield in like 2013, something like that, maybe at TLC, and he wore the same ring gear, so that was a nice little sort of throwback. But yeah, Mox versus Danielson will be a brilliant match. Be an absolutely brilliant match. Obviously, they cross paths in WWE to an extent, and obviously we all will. Excuse me. We'll always remember the promo of Jon Moxley dressed as a Mountie, where he made Daniel Bryan laugh on live TV. We'll always remember that. But yeah, I think they're both brilliant in-ring workers. Obviously, Bryan is having a massive resurgence with regards to his match quality, things like that, and Mox is obviously back and healthy, and it's going to be a massive clash of styles as well, with the brawler versus the more technical styles. So yeah, brilliant match. Looking forward to that. It's almost going to be as good as Miz versus Rey Mysterio on Elimination Chamber. Almost.
Yeah. No. We Revolution. Obviously, we got a bit of a longer wait, a couple more weeks for that one, but yeah, we've got Elimination Chamber coming up. So yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, where's your loyalty going to be there? You're a Miz lover, a Ray lover. We're going to want to pick up the W.
I think it's got to be with Ray in it. To be fair though, not sure who's going to win. Not sure who's going to win because they haven't particularly booked either of them very strongly over the last year or so. So yeah, be an interesting one, and I think it's not a match I remember really seeing ever back in the day.
No.
And at the end of the day, it's two former world champions fighting on a pay-per-view. So it's what pay-per-views are about. Let's just hope Dominic. I don't really like Dominic. I'm going to be honest. He's considering how young he is as well. He's got terrible tattoos, like proper like old man. Like he just is thinking he's like copying his dad, but his dad had these tattoos in like the 90s, and his dad's got some pretty amazing tattoos to be fair. But yeah, hopefully Dominic doesn't get too involved. and it's just, a decent 10-minute match between the two of them, where if Miz wins, there'll be some kind of shenanigans. Maybe he wins because Dominic inadvertently helps him. I don't know, but we shall see.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good match, I think. Two very good workers, so be interesting. I assume you're looking forward to that a lot more than you're looking forward to Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Oh, what's the point? And then it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin at Mania, isn't it? And no one cares. Literally nobody cares. Like, let's be honest.
Bit of a different for the last two Manias for Drew, isn't it? But this happens though, doesn't it? We all know that people go on top and then they go in this weird cycle where they fight mid card for a while until they get back. I suppose we didn't think maybe that would happen with Drew because how good he was through the whole pandemic, basically. But of WWE. But yeah, strange match to have. There are some good matches though. I'm looking forward to Lita versus Becky Lynch. Still expect Becky Lynch to win that one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, very much. It's the equivalent of sort of Charlotte versus Trish, isn't it? It's just a slightly edgier, more ginger version of that match. But yeah, I expect it to be a good match. But yeah, Becky to win, I think.
Yeah, well, I was watching. I didn't see Raw last night, but I was watching last week's Raw, and obviously they had that little face-off in the ring, and I thought, well, what if Becky beats Lita at Elimination Chamber, beats her down after the match, then Trish comes back defending her friend, and then we get Becky and Trish at Mania.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Although Trish is a judge on Canada's Got Talent, and they seem to be filming a lot at the minute. So genuinely, she's the Alicia Dixon or Amanda Holden of Canada.
Well, hopefully she'd be able to get away to have a match. I know there was talk late last year, wasn't it, that her and Becky were having a spat on Twitter. So you never know. I think they'll leave it open, but that would be a good thing for me. There's no one else really. Although they have said the winner of the women's Elimination Chamber will fight the Raw champion at WrestleMania, haven't they?
And then there's a space. So
true. She could turn up and be that person. That's true. You never know. I'd rather Rhea Ripley maybe win it because we haven't seen Rhea versus Becky, have we? So I wouldn't maybe mind that, but whether or not, why have a surprise person unless they're going to be the one who faces her, isn't it, I suppose? But yeah, that should be a good match. And I'm quite surprised, actually. That means they've got 2 women's matches in Jeddah.
And I think Becky versus Lita is the first ever sports poster in Saudi Arabia with women on, which is a big deal.
I imagine they'll have to wear prison clothes like the other women have had to wear when they've been over there, though.
More than probably, but I think we've all got our opinions on WWE's deal with Saudi Arabia, and probably this isn't the platform to talk about our opinions on the politics of it. But at the end of the day, if it's it's getting better each time, I think, with regards to the amount of women on pay-per-views and the length of the matches, the quality of the matches, things like that. So it's just one of those things where I think WWE have got this deal, and if we want to watch the pay-per-views, because they now started actually putting proper pay-per-views on over there, it's just going to be something we've got to put up with, to be honest.
True. Well, I wouldn't mind if they, like you said, they talked about they did something similar in the UK or stuff like that. Obviously, it's all about the money, we know that. But yeah, at least the card is looking decent. What do you think about Goldberg and Reigns?
Goldberg again, innit? To be fair, Goldberg, if he gets given the time to train for the matches and the matches are, put in a way where he can work well in them, I think they're not that bad. Like his match versus Drew McIntyre wasn't bad.
Nope.
But yeah, I think it's just another name for Reigns to tick off the list, isn't it, before he goes to Mania and fights whoever. I just really hope that it's not Brock versus Reigns and they combine the title belts.
Yeah.
So I just hope that doesn't happen. personally. But yeah, Reigns is going to win, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Oh, definitely. Well, did you see in his promo on SmackDown last week that he said if that guy comes over, I'll smack him. Obviously, CM Punk, because they were talking about his Universal title reign being long, and he says only one other guy who's done something similar. If he came over back here, I'd smack him. But yeah.
Yeah, I think safe to say that's one guy who isn't going to be coming back to WWE to wrestle.
No, I think that is definitely something we're not going to see. But yeah, no, I agree with you. He said he's going to do a Goldberg to Goldberg, so I don't think it's going to be a long match.
No.
You know, I think it's going to be quite short. But yeah, we'll have to, like you say, it's going to be him versus Lesnar at Mania. We already know that, so we've already got basically we know Becky. Well, actually, will Becky Lynch, if whoever she faces, be the main event on night one, or do you think it'll be Charlotte Rousey just because it's Rousey?
Probably. I still don't understand why that's happening. Like, Becky's the only person to ever beat Rousey. Charlotte was just sort of there because she probably threw a tantrum. Yeah. And to protect Rousey, protect Becky as well. But yeah, I don't see the point in that. I think it should be Becky versus Ronda, personally. I don't see why she's versus Charlotte. We could do Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. We could have Bayley come back, Bayley versus Charlotte. It's not. If I'm going to see Ronda Rousey, I want her to go up against Becky Lynch, personally, but it's not happening.
No. That's it. Well, that's what I mean. Obviously, Lesnar and Reigns is going to be probably night 2 main event, and you'd assume it's going to be probably Charlotte and Ronda at night 1, and obviously Becky opening up one of the other nights. But who knows? Maybe Bayley will be the surprise person at the Chamber, and it will get Bayley Becky. But we'll have to see on that one. Finally, at the Elimination Chamber, then we've obviously got the big Raw one. Got to be honest, is one of the most exciting 6 guys to have in an Elimination Chamber for a long time.
Yeah, no one in it's really filler, are they? Massively. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't know whether we'll see Brock win again, and then it keeps Lashley strong with regards to it being in the Chamber. I honestly don't know. Personally, I'd rather see Bobby Lashley retain and have another decent title run and face someone new, someone different at Mania. Yeah, I don't think Brock necessarily needs a title, and obviously it being in the Chamber can protect him as well. If we have 5 people gang up on him and batter him, or Reigns comes in and somehow gets in and assaults him again, like who knows? But no, I think it'd be a good match. Only thing with Chamber now, because it sounds terrible, but because it's PG and everything's been so watered down with it, unless you've got like a massive, like a decent high flyer in the Chamber, you don't really see any spots that, like we've seen the plexiglass fall out, we've seen people get slammed on, the metal flooring. So I think unless you've got a high flyer in there, you don't really see any particularly interesting spots. So it's going to have to be more storytelling based, I think, which is a good thing for me. But I think the Chamber is one of the things that maybe does need blood and gore and a bit of a grudge. But yeah, we shall see. I think it'll be a good match, whatever.
Yeah, like going back to the first ones, obviously, with Michaels, Triple H, there was one that was very gory. They obviously had the steel rather than the weird wood platform they have now. So they've obviously, like I say, watered it down a lot since his first conception in the early 2000s. But yeah, I think why not have a complete shot? Why not have Riddle take the title and then have Riddle versus Orton? Orton turns on him, Riddle Orton at Mania for the WWE title. Because I'm looking at the field, there's loads of talk of it being AJ versus Edge at Mania, isn't it? So I doubt that's going to be for a title. So it probably rules AJ out of winning it. Obviously, Theory, as good as it is to see him getting pushed, he's probably still not there yet to be holding the gold. So you're thinking really Rollins, Lesnar, or Lashley, aren't you? But I would love it to be Riddle and have Riddle Orton. Just a match that you wouldn't think you were going to see, and then randomly you see it at Mania. I've really, really enjoyed the stuff with them two and Gable and Gable and Otis on Raw. Gable's character now is one of my favourites in WWE. Brilliant.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd have no issue with that at all. I have no issue with Riddle winning and, going on and facing Orton. The only thing, maybe would leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth is the fact that Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho never got that match because it was replaced with Goldberg, Lesnar at WrestleMania 33. So obviously yesterday was 5 years since the Festival of Friendship. One of the best Raw segments we've had in a long time. But I think that would be the only thing that would leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. The fact that Riddle and Orton are similar to, I'd say, how Owens and Jericho were, but obviously faces rather than heels. And I think, it's one of those things where the fact that they didn't get it, I think they maybe feel a bit aggrieved that, Orton and Riddle did. But, wrestling times change, wrestling, always changes day in, day out. But would we rather see Randy with the title and Riddle take it off him and have that big WrestleMania moment? Or, we'll have to wait and see. But no, I think Riddle put a good showing in like the last couple of years with the Rumble. He's been the sort of Iron Man there, isn't he? WWE clearly think highly of him, even though he never shuts up on Twitter with like Goldberg and Lesnar and stuff. So no, I agree with you. Edge versus AJ, hopefully, will be a Mania match as well.
Yeah, it would be brilliant. I really enjoy looking. We'd all love to see that match. Two icons of the business going at it, and they're going to be putting on a good show because on even the last couple of Raws, every match AJ's been in. He was with Priest last week when I watched it. Great match. His match with Austin Theory, great match. He's just pulling out, them big matches that he was doing, in Impact and the start of his WWE career. So, yeah, I think we'll see it very good if that does happen. But yeah, Elimination Chamber. Some of the matches look like they're going to be very good. Obviously, one thing I will say is generally in Saudi, the crowds aren't as good, obviously. It's not really any, the same ferocity that you get in the States. But, I'm sure if you get the big spots and stuff, you will start to get them involved a bit. But, yeah, it's not long. Obviously, this Saturday, I think it's on early, isn't it? I think it's an early pay-per-view with it being in Saudi. It's not going to be a late one like normal, so that might be a bit better. But, yeah, looking forward to it. Is there anything in the wrestling world then, before we sign off, Josh, that you wanted to talk about that you've seen on Twitter or any stories that you're looking forward to?
Just two little things. Just we've been talking about AJ, good little segue. I saw, I think it was a tweet or it could have been on Facebook, the fact that AJ has held a championship in WWE for I think 51% of all the days he's been in WWE, which I think is one of the highest ever percentages for someone holding titles. So the fact that he was, an Impact guy, he was too small, he was an indie guy, and he's held titles for percentage-wise higher than, most other people, I think is amazing. And also you said you didn't see Raw yesterday neither, did I? But I did see a thing saying that Tommaso Ciampa debuted.
Did he? Oh, great. That's good.
So not to ruin it for you, but
No,
I think
that's fine.
He was always interested in him saying, I never want to go to the main roster. I don't want to work their schedule, things like that. So just to see what role he will sort of play going forward, considering all of his other mates have now gone.
Yeah. No, true. That's brilliant. I'm glad that he has now finally been shown there. I don't know what they're going to do with him to start with. He'll probably have some matches against people like Reggie and random people rather than chucking him in there with the big guys. But it's good to see him on Raw. And he's managed to get there before that Via guy who was with Jinder Mahal, who's been advertised as coming to Raw since, I think, the draft.
He has. But I think we're all more excited to see Tommaso Ciampa than we are Via, to be honest.
Just a bit, mate. Yeah, just a bit. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else that's shouted out at me. Obviously, we've got Revolution coming out. We've got Elimination Chamber coming up. So hopefully 2 very good pay-per-views with some good matches. Like I say, Cole, Hangman. Hopefully Kenny Omega turns up at the end. We hope he comes back. Like you said, if Mox and Bryan Danielson happens, that's going to be a great match. If we get MJF and CM Punk again, that's going to be hopefully a good match because it was a decent match the first time. So interesting. But yeah, 2 big pay-per-views coming up, and hopefully we'll be talking about it after them to to see how it went on, and hopefully we've enjoyed them both. But thank you for joining me, mate. You know, at short notice as well. I only asked you yesterday. So thank you very much for coming on to discuss all the stuff, and hopefully we can have a catch up soon, face to face.
Yeah, hopefully, buddy. We'll have to organise a beer.
Definitely, mate. But yeah, thank you to our fans. Obviously, thank you for continuing to support us, especially after the break we've had. Look on our social media for the links for the page, and obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel, The RM Show Wales. But yes, thank you for continuing to support us. And until next time, Joshy, take care, mate, and I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon, mate.
Bye.